First of all, I'd like to say, Shaheed Stakala, you have taken a lot of people's money. You have taken a few rands of mine, but you have taken a lot of money from other people. Just remember me, I came to your house, myself and two other people came to your house to come speak to you with regard to this issue. We spoke to you about it and you lied to us, you both lied to us. But I know that's a trend of a Shia. You are a Shia and Shias lie because that's how you climb in rank within the organization. Remember me because I know how you operate and you operate with a Khoisan organization now. Don't think I don't have contacts. All of us have contacts and we know how you operate. I know where you operate in Durban as well. I know where you operate in Johannesburg as well. So do me a favor, keep running. Please, keep running. If you don't want to pay people's money back, keep on running.
Our guest on the previous episode spoke about their journeys that has been stolen, their dreams that has been stolen. Anwar Mohan in this episode talks about his journey, standing at the airport, unable to leave. What an embarrassment. Stay tuned.
Well, it's been a long journey for you. We've been talking for a long time. I've been reading your notes and trying to understand what happened. And I think we're going to get into the legal nitty-gritty because we have Riaz here that can also talk to us about what happened from a legal perspective. I have something to tell you, and that is that when I said to Shaheed Stakala on social media, it was the only way that I could talk to him. For the benefit of our audience, the reason he's not here is that he wants to charge the show 150,000 rands to come onto the show as an appearance fee. My deal is fairly simple. Pay all the other money back and we give you 150,000 rands. It's as simple as that. And the offer stands. So let's wait for that to happen. And that's our commitment to what's happening here today. But 150,000 rand to appear on the show was just a decoy not to come here today. We guaranteed the man his personal safety. We brought in security to deal with that. And the point was that it wasn't about that. It was about finding closure, finding solution, finding the way forward. And it's not even an apology up till today. It's all trying to make him look like the victim. And that's something that I cannot seem to understand. The message to you was, is he going to come up with any brand new evidence at all that he did from the last time, because it didn't work the last time? What do you have to say to that?
I have nothing to hide about this. He didn't fulfill his promise to us, and it was why it was so sad to me is because it affected my family and a lot of old people.
But he says you can't touch him, and he told me this outright.
That is the sad part of it, is that we have no backbone, so to say. Law could not help us. It's going on 4 years now. Saul could not step up for us.
So you say Saul did not assist in any way?
No, nothing.
You've approached them?
I mean, they should know about what is happening. At least they should have had the decency of approaching us then, if not us approaching them. And we did not go directly to Stakala. We had dealings with Lammy. I have never met this guy in my life, the Stakala guy. We went to Lammy, and Lammy, we went with our deposit to go book our 9 of us in my family. And Lammy referred us to this guy. And you know what? You're so ignorant because you're thinking, look, whoever can, if I can score a buck, I heard what Sheikh was saying and I respect it, that we should have been more alert when we saw the pricings of it. But you know what? This is a journey of a lifetime. And to put that money together, it's a mission. It's not.
How much money did you put in?
122,000 rand.
122,000. So I'm only counting the 100,000 rand from the 160 from the first case, and yours, and that already seems like a big problem.
That's only my family.
A 250,000 rand for starters, and then we're talking about 200 other people.
Yeah, I know. I have a stack of papers like this, of receipts and people's names, and all that was done in. It came to something like 2.8 million, if I'm not mistaken. It could be more. There were people from Joburg, there were people from PE, all in this group. We all went this day we were supposed to go away. We ended up standing in Philippi police station.
The day you're supposed to go. And you know what the embarrassing thing about this is, Imam, is that, you know, when you're traveling, and especially in Cape Town, the tradition is that everyone comes to greet you, and if you delay, they're going to phone you every hour to find out if you sorted out.
Sure.
And so, what then happened that day?
It was embarrassing to sit there, people coming to greet you, and like you said, the tradition, they give you a couple of rands for you to spend in the kingdom and so on. That is a tradition of the Cape.
And when 2-3 days passed after this, did it start dawning on you that we might not be going?
Sure, it dawned on me the same day, and I got so, you know, you feel devastated, you feel violated, so to say, and you want to hide away, because all those people that came to greet you and all those things, they're ready to see you off, and here you're sitting, 3 days later you're still sitting in your house. We even went to the airport to see what is happening, because we heard that some people were going, and you know, this strategy that they were using is like it'll fade.
But when was the actual moment when you thought that this is definitely not happening? I mean, I'm sure the first day you must have had some hope that there must be a misunderstanding or some type of bewilderment on your side to say something's wrong, but we'll sort it out.
The day that dawned on us that we're not going is that we were standing in Lami's office, and they actually brought Stakala in, and there were some people that was, I'm not going to mention where
there was some violence going on there that day.
Yeah, they actually beat him, and they asked him to go into his bank account to see what is happening inside there, so that he can actually vouch for, because he was saying that he transferred the money to the agents and they disappeared with the money.
What did you see there?
He did not want to open it.
He didn't want to open his bank account?
Didn't want to open it.
I think
They put a laptop in front of him. They put a laptop in front of him. Here, go into your account, show us what you...
What did that tell you when he didn't want to open the account?
That he's got the money. That he has the money, that's it.
How do you feel today? I know that you're on social media, because when you look at his social media posting, he's talking about how he's involved with different politicians, he's busy labeling everyone else, he's called me a grave worshipper and all kinds of things. I don't know if none of that bothers me, but he's busy saying that we go for Hajj without a visa, and I can give you Umrah and Hajj for 10 and 15,000, and that continues till today. How do you feel about that today?
Yeah, this guy has the audacity, honestly, he still has the audacity, and then what saddens us even more is that so many people know about this issue, yet they go book with him again. Even, Lamy was implicated in this thing. They were, I can vouch that they were actually part of it, because I didn't know this guy.
What was the finding of the court? And I want us to look at this, because I want to understand the finding of the court, and was this within the perspective of a civil matter or a criminal matter?
It was a Schedule 5.
Okay, there are two processes that one is able to follow. The first process is obviously a criminal process. If we are dealing with fraud or theft, then obviously it's regarded as a criminal process. It will run through the criminal courts. That is obviously something that is run by the state, and the state will then obviously prosecute the accused. The onus in criminal procedures is obviously beyond reasonable doubt. So it's a little bit more difficult to succeed in those courts. And then the second procedure is the procedure through the civil courts. Okay, in terms of the civil procedure, you have 3 years within which to institute civil claims against a defendant in a matter, and the onus is slightly less in that. You just need to prove it on a balance of probabilities. So it appears that they might have fallen short at the criminal courts. I don't know the facts of all the matter, but there might still be a possibility of obviously proceeding it in a civil manner. I would also tell people out there that they just need to be aware that if you're going to pursue civil procedure, be aware of the 3-year period within which to be able to institute action.
What does that mean? So you're saying that if you did not act within 3 years, that you don't have a case. That's what you say.
That's correct. That's a possibility.
So you have already fallen in that period. Mr. Stakala knows that very well, and this is why he's communicating, saying that I don't owe anybody anything. Imam, I want to direct that matter to you.
Just before you go out, obviously just invite him maybe to have a slight discussion with me afterwards, because there might be ways and means to be able to look at and calculate the period.
Yes, and we thank you for that, because we find a situation that's the community is afflicted by, and we as media, and we at the lounge today, and they've offered, and MRM has allowed to do the audio and stuff like that. So we want people to partner, not from a business point of view, but saying let's all help to assist people and to try and eradicate this scourge. Imam, before I come to you,
We actually laid criminal charges against this guy at Philippi police station. But it just faded out because he was imprisoned. He was jailed, and he stayed there for a few months.
Yeah, look, like I said, I don't know. He could have been arrested. He might then have been bail might have then been granted afterwards. I don't know the facts of it. But like I told you, I'm prepared to sit with you for a few minutes afterwards, and I'll guide you through the process. I will then advise you in terms of what had actually transpired, what the criminal process entails, so that you're obviously able to make informed decisions going forward.
With all due respect to that, and we love the fact that Riaz is going to advise us on that, but I think that it is my personal opinion that for a traveller, even fighting through the courts and the matter being set aside by the court in this case because of technical issues, whatever they may be, I don't think that there's any solace for a victim if you have not travelled. I don't think anything will settle your heart down the line, and that's the component I just want to direct the next question to Imam about, and that is that the courts vindicate you, and the courts set the matter aside, and that's the South African court and any other court in the world. As a Muslim, do you still owe the money?
Yeah, definitely you still owe the money. You know, there is going to be the nadwa between you and Allah Jalla Jalaluhu the day of Qiyamah. You know, and where you're going to have to, you know, that is what we call huquq al-insan. You have to give your, what you have done against man, you have to clear it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jalla Jalaluhu. So you never actually, as a Muslim, you never, you know, sidestep this issue or whatever.
You're not able to take the judgment from the court upstairs and say, here it is.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, nobody came back to say that they did that. But according to the Quran, no. You know, you understand. I mean, it is your rights. It is the right of the Hajj and the Hajjah or the Mu'tamirin, you know, to come to Allah and to state their case. And obviously, the way we understand it to be is that the person, the accused, will also have to state their case. You know, and Islamically, there is no prescription, you know, when it comes to Islam. You understand? I mean, it's not like the Western courts. You can actually take this matter up with the person as long as you want to, you know, as long as you're alive and so on, you know, when it comes to that. So yes, that will be there.
So the 3-year rule does not apply?
No, it doesn't apply, obviously, you know, not when it comes to Islam. There's just something else I wanted to say, which I picked up in what you're saying, that Mr. Stakala is again advertising, you know, you can get visas, etc. First of all, no visa can be issued without the embassy. And the embassy in Pretoria is governed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of, I think it's called Internal Affairs or whatever, of Saudi Arabia. You know, that you would not be able to get a visa directly from Saudi Arabia.
You obviously know why he's doing this.
Yes.
And that's to get more victims going here.
There were talks a few years ago where guys have said, also a group came out and said, we won't get the visa via Saudi, we will get the visa somewhere else or whatever. Yes, the embassy has got a discretion that they can give visas to whoever they want for those people that present their cases for Hajj. I'm speaking about Hajj, sorry, not Umrah. Umrah, they can't do that.
Yes.
You know, end of story. You understand? But what people are doing, they maybe apply for a business visa or whatever, and they go also on Umrah and so on. You know, but for Umrah, you cannot get a visa, you know, via the embassy, like we will say, as a gratuity. You know, for Hajj, the Saudi embassy has got the right. I don't know what the quantum is. I was made to understand the quantum can go up to 500, you know, visas that they can give to whoever presents their case to them, and they can give you that visa. It's called a mujamala, you know, and that person can then go for Hajj. That person has to just give proof that they've got what is called the tanazul, right? And they have to give proof that they have got accommodation in Makkah and in Medina. and then nowadays they also want that person then just to join for the 5 days of Hajj. That person will join with a group, because that person has to pay, the amount of money which you have to pay for the 5 days of Hajj. Every Haji pays an amount of money for the 5 days of Hajj. So they have to pay that money in order to be with that group. And this is also where they take now that you don't go into the normal camps like Camp B and C. You will go to Camp A, which is special services, and that's where they keep all these people. That is how they control this. So there is no ways that Mr. Stakala can say, or any person can say, not even Al-Mujahideen or any person can say that we will get you a visa without Sauk when it comes for Hajj, or we will get you a visa for Umrah without going through the Saudi embassy. It cannot happen. You understand? It cannot happen.
And
Let me just tell you what is the process. For Hajj, the process is like this. There's what we call the e-system. You have to process everything. You have to pay the money now over to what is called the United Arab Agents Office. They have an account, a bank account for every country. So you pay the money into that bank account, right, from here. From that bank account, they will pay the hotels. And they will pay all the other services. Once you have paid that money in there and they've paid that services, right, your portal, you have an e-portal, will now start showing different colors. It starts with red, and then it will go yellow, and then it will go green. Moment all your facets or all the different things that you have contracted for is green, then you put the package together. We put the package together, and you forward the package to what is called MOFA, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs then allows the visa, right, for that particular Hajj or Hajjah, right, and sends that detail of acceptance to the Pretoria embassy. Only certain groups.
So that effectively defines a very tight system.
Yes.
And therefore anyone going out saying that I can get a visa, whatever it might be,
It's
is
a story.
unable to do that. Before we go to the questions and some question answer session with some members for just about 10 minutes, and we're also just going to wrap up a bit later with 1 or 2 comments from your side and Ria's side in terms of advices to the public going forward. I want to give you this opportunity to do one thing, and that is to impart your message to Shaheed Stakala now, because I know for sure that he's watching the show.
Shaheed, this was our hard-earned money, and it was something I promised to my family. And I don't know if I will ever be able to fulfill that promise to them. That money did not come easy. Besides myself, those people, I don't know, some of them are probably passed on already. They came into my house. Some of them with crutches. Some of them not being able to help themselves. Their hard-earned cash is nothing compared to mine. Their 100 rand is nothing, is much more compared to my 100,000 rand. Because for them to get that 100 rand, it probably took them the same amount of time as it took me to get my 100,000 rand. So do the thing that is proper. And just give our money back. You can say whatever you like, you can beat about any bush you like, but you have not paid us. And that is my appeal to you, is do what you feel Islamically is right. You can have what sheikh, no disrespect, but it's all up to you. And if you feel that you have paid us, why don't you face up to it? Why don't you come sit with us, come speak to us then? Why did you run away from the farm and go stay in Valhalla Park? Is it just not to face us? Come out like a man, don't be a mouse. When I think of you, I get angry, you know what, Allah has put that calmness over me that I can take it. If you come lie to me in my face and tell me that you paid me, I'll accept it.
Thank you, Anna. I think that I apologize. I do get affected by this thing because the fact that old people and sick people cannot travel, that really affects me, and that's a driving force for me doing this episode. And Shaheed says that I'm making lots of money out of my shows, and maybe a TV show makes lots of money, but all our service providers to date has offered their service because they want to be part of this. And I've not charged for this episode, and the channel's not charging anyone for the episode because we feel this is what we want to do.
I would just like to know, why aren't we people being educated about this Hajj and Umrah operators? Surely by now we have a pamphlet stating every month, do not go with these operators as they're not being credited, and the packages that is put in place, then you know more or less. My sister and brother-in-law Arham and the others, they were also foul to this Stakala business, and they've lost a lot of money. So I would just like to know that by now, if I'm a 70-year-old or a 85-year-old, I'm not educated, how do I know when to book and with who to book? Surely people have to be informed about this. I would very much like that. Thank you.
We're going to talk to our audience. We're looking at some comments by members of the public in terms of some of the things that you have to tell us. And if you have any comments or any questions for our panelists.
My name is Nadiba. I'm a bit confused with all these Hajj and Umrah and rules and regulations. But be as it may, it's quite heartbreaking for what the Hajj has gone through. I want to find out, who is Satawa? Can Imam explain to me who is Satawa?
Satawa was started 2002 at the same time when the Hajj ministry started formulating Umrah and Hajj. In fact, Umrah was formulated about 2 or 3 years later than that, but Hajj was formulated by them. Formulated in the sense that they said that you cannot travel, individuals cannot travel anymore unless they are traveling via an operator that is registered in the kingdom. Right, and you get a certain license. I've got a license in my pocket here. I can show it later on to whoever wants to see it. You know, and you can only travel with that particular person or that particular group for Hajj. Satawa then started also because SAUK in itself was speaking to operators, and operators were all being given sort of different stories as it is, or different, I wouldn't say different stories, but they have different perceptions of what has been discussed. So Satawa was then started, instituted in a constitution and so on, and also have a disciplinary committee and things like that. So what has then happened is that Satawa at the time is a body that is there for operators for Hajj and Umrah and travel.
I'm 38 years in travel.
Yes.
And worldwide, not one person came to me to say that I did wrong in my travel industry. So it's confusing for me, who is all these organizations? It saddened me to know that our people is being ripped off.
Yeah.
With people that don't even have any education in travel. And they've got the right to stand up there and tell people about travel and tourism. Even that South also. I mean, I can go out and tell what happened to me with members. I've got all the proof here. What is the role of Satawa?
Okay.
Especially when people like these people are being ripped off with so-called operators, because I do know operators, anybody can be operator.
Well, if you speak about travel, it's like SAMTA. You know, I'm sure the sister knows SAMTA. You know, like SAMTA, and you don't know SAMTA. The SAMTA is in the north mostly, in Johannesburg and in Durban. So Satawa was down here because there was only about 1 or 2 people down here that belonged to SAMTA. You know, and in fact those people themselves were the founding members also of Satawa, in order to, I would say, to regroup and to pull all the operators under an umbrella where they can be held responsible, especially when it comes to matters like these. You know, and where they can be disciplined, etc., and where the industry then can be formulated and being educated, like the sister has said, you know, when it comes to education for travel and tourism and so on.
Okay.
So that is basically Satawa.
Okay, and how did that form? It was people nominated, or?
Well, it was formed with a meeting that was called on all the operators, you know, in 2002. right? And then an executive was chosen from there. It was actually given, first they had the working committee that drew up the constitution, you know.
Ivan, if I may come in,
yeah.
I think that the formulation and to constitute the body, I think is another matter. With,
On its
with
own.
all due respect.
Oh, because look, I've also got this contract of one of my agencies in Makkah, and like I said, anybody can be an operator. It's all about money.
Yes.
And in today's life, there is the World Wide Web. So people can actually do their own bookings. At the end of the day, if you don't have an artist certificate, you cannot be a Umrah or a Hajj operator.
Remember in the previous episode, I said, you know, there are certain Umrah operators, and then there are certain operators that actually has the side contracts with the Umrah operators, because everybody obviously cannot put down the R1 million now that they need in Saudi. For there's R1 million that you have to give now
as a surety.
As a surety. Everybody doesn't have the 350 or the 400,000 in South Africa to get an IATA certificate. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and I mean, there's big companies, big tourism companies that is going that way. Like you will have, there is a wholesaler, like take Serendipity, SWG, for argument's sake. There's many companies that has been in years in travel, had IATA certificates, you know, but they now don't want that IATA certificate, but they all fall under SWG. They book and they park with SWG, etc. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, there is that thing. The sister is correct in saying all those things need to be in place. And this is exactly what I said in the previous episode, before the break. You understand that whoever books, first of all, see if they are affiliated to any of those organizations. In order, that is your first step, in order to have at least that peace of mind.
Correct.
You understand? If they belong to that organization, you will know that via that organization, they are linked with a reputable Umrah company.
So I think the disparity is where the public doesn't understand that they should be doing their homework, like our first guest said. But part of the homework is for them to understand maybe a little bit about the travel industry, and that is that are they, especially in this time where we see all of this going wrong, do they belong to the appropriate bodies themselves, or are they just latching on to someone else?
People's got to take heed of who is a travel agent and who is a tour operator.
I think that's very important. If we're starting to run out of time, if I can maybe just have, if there's one more question at least, or comment, because we're now running out of time.
The average man in the street does not do research on who's a good travel agent, who's not a good, who's accredited. Those people go on trust. And shouldn't it be that Satao or whoever else is there should be screening these people and putting it, our community is not that big. We're not that big. We've got a small community. And if we do this through the right channels, through masjids, through Jummah lectures, you can get the message out there and say, these are the people that you deal with. You don't deal with anybody else, because you get your lady that's cooked for how many years to save her money to go for Hajj. She's not on the web. She's not on the... Put it out on the radio, because everybody listens to the radio station, VOC 786. Use those mediums to expose the people that need to be exposed.
So I think essentially what Nadia is saying, that there's a communication or an education that needs to continue.
I completely agree with you. There should be an educational process where this is concerned. But we are also maybe governed by the South African Competitions Act. That if we are going to say you can only deal with these people because they have been accredited for that, somebody might just pick up, you know, some travel agent might just pick this matter up, and the legal man is here to say, you know, and to say that to go to the Competitions Commission is that, you know, these guys are coercing with one another and they want the business only to be with them and so on. Nothing stops maybe Sister Nadima from doing Umrah because she's got the necessary documentation in place. She's got the necessary contracts there with the Saudi government. It doesn't mean that she must be a member of SATOA in order to operate, or a member of South, or a member even of SAMTA. You understand? It is like travel agents belongs to ASATA, you know, but those are all the tour operators that belong to ASATA and so on. But ASATA cannot put out there and say, don't book with an agent that may belongs to SATUA. There is a satwa also in the travel agency. You're not satwa, a satwa. You know, the South African Travel Operators Association. You understand? Don't book with the South African Travel Operators Association, but travel with ASATA. They cannot bring that up because that's against the competition's rules of South Africa, as far as I know. You know, and I think we can ask Brother Riaz here maybe to shed light on that.
I just want to, just if you can answer both questions in one go.
Yeah.
The one I have and Imam's one, and that is that it all boiled down to one thing in the end of the day, and that was that for us to educate people through programs like we're doing right now, and that's our big focus as media, is to educate people. But it boils down to the simple thing. It ended up in court, and in court, some things didn't stand the weight that people thought it was going to stand. So it boils down to that day when you end up in court with anybody, because that's really where it needs to happen when things don't happen. Yeah. So if you can maybe answer Imam's question and my question, and just give us, in conclusion, the advice that we need to follow to make sure that we protect it from a legal perspective, because we protect it from a legal perspective, there's something to fall back on other than not having something to fall back on.
Yeah. Okay, so look, in terms of the anti-competition issues, there are risks of that, in terms of obviously if the Competition Commission find that it's anti-competitive or people are colluding to fix prices and all of those things, that obviously is an issue and that can come into play. We're also dealing with the industry, as we all know, that the prices are quite high, and then obviously it could lead to the issues of colluding. So therefore, unfortunately, if you meet all the criteria, I believe you should be able to operate within the space or within the area of booking Hajjs and Umrahs. The second thing is, in terms of from a legal perspective, I would say to you, unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure what went on in the court case. I didn't study the criminal matter that had proceeded. I don't know if it has been kicked out, at what stage the matter has been kicked out, has the matter on trial or not. But what I would say to everyone out there, you need to obviously protect yourself. One, when you conclude an agreement with someone, I would say to you, one, reduce the agreement to writing. Two, as soon as something has gone not the way it was supposed to go, I would then urge you to seek legal assistance to ensure that you're obviously able to enforce your rights within the time frames allowed in terms of South African law. So those are the things that I would obviously just urge the public out there, is obviously to seek legal counsel, because without seeking legal counsel, you're not going to necessarily get the guidance that you need to enforce your rights. And what I'm picking up from the discussions today is that some of the claimants might not have obtained the correct legal advice, or actually obtained legal advice at all. Going to the police station to enforce your rights in terms of a crime that has taken place is one aspect of it, but to understand all your rights, I would recommend that you actually go and see and consult an attorney or someone in the industry to guide you on the proper manner.
Can I just and so we'll just wrap up with final comments, and we'll start with Anwar.
Just to put yours into perspective, everything you said there we did. We've followed all the protocol. We've got our receipts. What is the Khairanisa Foundation? We have all that. We have everything in our order. And just to think that this guy you mentioned that was kicked out, isn't this proof enough that we've paid our money and we've done our thing, we've done what we had to do, and now for the court just to throw it out as if we never gave him any money?
I understand the frustrations, but what you need to understand is there is a certain process that the law follows, and there's something called the rule of evidence. So depending on how the matter was handled and the type of evidence that was led, it could reach different results. Like I said to you, I don't know all the facts of the matter.
We had a lawyer going with us to the police station to lay the charge for us as well.
Yes, I understand that. I understand all of that. But like I said to you, there's various processes within a criminal investigation. One, statements need to be taken, then obviously evidence need to be led. And I'm not saying to you, for example, a prosecutor didn't follow through on the matter correctly, but that's also a possibility. So there are various avenues, and like I said to you, we don't have enough time on this program to discuss it. And like I said to you, I invited you to sit with me for a few minutes afterwards, and I'll take you through all of these processes. And like I said to you might have gotten legal advice. I'm not saying it's the incorrect legal advice, but certain times you need to obtain second opinions because one attorney might not know everything.
I'm probably
those are
the
things
youngest
that
in this group of ours of the 49. For these people to go through all these technicalities, to do all this things that you are saying, they don't have pluck for this. They don't have
the energy to do all of
they
that.
don't have it.
Yeah. So I think we maybe need to start from the beginning, and we're going to close the show with that. And the beginning is, as I said, medicine prevention is better than cure, and maybe therefore we asked Riaz's advice and Imam's perspective on that. And unfortunately, in your guys' case, it's people are learning, and it's a heavy school fee to be paid for many people. But I think it's looking at how do we prevent, because there's one thing that we cannot take out of this world, and that's the bad guys. They've been there from the time we started and landed on the planet, and they're going to be there till the end of time. And the only way to keep yourself clear of all of this is to keep on having your antenna out, trying to find where they are, and to make sure that you put things in place to stop all of that. Imam, just a last comment from you before we close the play.
I just want to say that for the people that wants to go out, and we shouldn't put the fear into them that everybody out there is the charlatan or whatever. There are certain sort of steps that they can take, and those steps are very, very easy administrative steps. That if the package is out there, first see how the package has been constructed, what is being offered, etc. Look at the price. You understand? It is like you can buy washing powder for 5 rand, you can buy washing powder for 2 rand. It's not necessarily that the 2 rand washing powder is going to make the impact what the 5 rand washing powder is going to make. You understand? So you have to look at that. You have to also look at and see that you follow the lines. Don't pay money over not before you have signed contracts. Sign contracts with the people. You understand? When you pay money over, get your receipts, or you have your proof of payment via your bank, etc. And once you've signed the contracts and you've done those things, then at least you know that you've got at least now some sort of legal recourse, with that contract. At least that. So that is
thank you, and we thank all our guests for joining us. Well, it has all boiled down to one thing, and that was that I have put the notice out there, and I still maintain that. And I think I've got a message for Mr. Stakala at the same time, and that is that if you claim that you owe nobody nothing, then I think that the decision and the idea is unanimous with us, and that is email me the proof, and I'll be the first one to put it on screen saying that you owe nobody anything. But if you don't have that, unfortunately, your victims are still in pain. And therefore we all learn from this lesson today, and that is for the public watching this particular episode, be mindful of what you're doing. Everyone is not a charlatan, as Imam said, but like Riaz said, documentation needs to be in place. You need to understand where you're going and what you're doing, and then at the same time, like one of our other guests has mentioned, that you need to do your homework. Unfortunately, we're not going to get rid of the bad guy on the planet. We're going to have to work around him, and that's the only option you have. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
That brings us to the end of this episode. As a TV host, I must admit, many of you wondering, shed some tears there, but guess what? These cases really do affect us, and we're not immune to that. When listening to the heart-wrenching stories of victims, one is sort of drawn in as a host to become part of that journey, and we all become part of that journey, trying to understand what these people has gone through. My biggest mission for doing the show was to try to educate the public so that we can stop the scourge of more operators robbing people blindly of their journeys of a lifetime. Do visit my website at FaizalSayed.com. All our episodes are available on YouTube, and do follow us on Facebook at Faizal Sayed TV.